Welcome back to the dark side. I'm your host, Brianna.
And I'm Dice.
And this is Dark Adaptation. Welcome to episode 56.
Welcome.
It's episode 56. Happy March. Happy almost springing forward or whatever the hell we do.
We're going to spring so hard. I can't wait to spring forward. I'm sick of this shit.
Yeah. This episode, I was like, what? This episode comes out on Monday? Yeah, that's right. And yeah, in the coming weekend, we'll spring forward.
Oh, fuck yeah.
And the days will be longer, and then it will be spring. And spring is nice.
Mm-hmm.
Spring is one of my favorite seasons, but I like every season except summer, so.
I like summer.
I like how long the days are in summer. I like summer nights, but I fucking hate humidity. I hate being sweaty. I don't like sweltering in the sun. I was going to say I don't like getting sunburns, but I don't actually burn. I just get a nice tan.
Yeah, I burn enough for the both of us anyway.
Yeah. But anyway, that's like so far away. It's just literally the 5th of March right now because we record last minute.
Buckle up for the 1.5 weeks worth of Canadian spring we actually get.
I know. Because there's fucking snow up to our hips right now.
Yeah.
So much snow. So thank you for joining us for our weather podcast, and where we talk about seasons and how lucky we are where we live to have 4.
We really oscillate between weather and just straight out nautical podcast. Yeah. Ever since our first episode.
I like our really weird underlying nautical themes.
It just keeps springing up. Honest to God, neither of us have tried, but it just keeps popping in there.
You know, it doesn't this time.
What?
Nautical. No.
Yeah, no.
Nautical, no.
Nautical, no.
I just feel a little crazy. Feel a little slap happy. I feel a little just like I haven't heard my own voice in a day because I've just been so entrenched in this case.
Yeah, you've been working hard.
Holy shit. This past week, it's been probably 25 hours.
Oh my God.
Worth of reading, researching, writing. Thanks a lot, Summer. You requested this case. We are talking about a pretty big one that a lot of people think they know about, you know. Summer, you've recommended the Dyatlov Pass. Good God. What have you done?
Yeah.
It is a big one. There's so much stuff that I am learning about. So this is just going to be the first part. And I don't even know, man. I just think I should start because, good God.
Yeah, let's get it out of your system.
Yeah, I'm excited to start just pumping it out, putting it all into your brains instead. And, let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
In 1959, 9 people were hiking through the Ural Mountains in Russia. Night was approaching, so they pitched a tent and settled for the night. What happened next is debated, but what we know for sure is that during the night, all 9 of them fled the safety of their tent into the snowy darkness and perished in the freezing conditions. Some had succumbed to hypothermia, but others were found with gruesome injuries. These injuries, along with the circumstances surrounding their deaths and the lack of answers, led to conspiracy theories which spanned from aliens to radiation fallout.
Holy fuck.
Okay, I always gotta do a little intro like that, set everyone up for what's to come. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. I guess I'm getting ahead of myself because I wrote that.
No, it's their fault.
But like I had said, this is... Oh, shit.
Oh, my God. Damn it.
Oops. Okay, like I said, this is a big case. It is going to be done in multiple parts
Mm-hmm.
because we are doing a deep dive into the tragic and compelling case of the Dyatlov Pass Incident. I couldn't say deep dive any more firm because, like, it is. Here we go. It will likely be our first 3-part episode. Dyson, did you know that?
Holy fuck, it's gonna be 3-parters.
I think so.
Wow.
I mean, and I haven't done writing yet. I've managed to bang out this first part, and I just feel like I've just got to maybe do 3 parts.
You would know, because you've done ones where you're like, I'm pretty sure it's a 1-parter, and it ends up being like 2 full-length episodes at least.
I know.
Yeah.
You'd think by now I could easily gauge what time frame we're looking at, but I can't.
Well, I trust you. If you say this is 3 parts, I'm betting it's gonna be fucking 3 parts.
It turns out to be 9.
Oh my god.
That's too much. Okay. Yeah, it's just because there's so much information. Plus, I find, because this is the 1950s, like, I find Cold War times and Soviet Russia just so fucking fascinating. So, yeah, I'm really going to take you on this trek with this group of people, these hikers, and I'm going to paint a serious picture. So, in today's episode, which is part 1, we'll discuss the hikers in Dyatlov's group and the beginning of their trip, including the first part of their trek into the northern Ural Mountains.
All right.
All right, so the first thing that we must know about when it comes to this case is the people involved. Their deaths, are disturbing, and they are the center of all these conspiracy theories, and, like, holy fuck, is there a lot of theories. But, they were real people, so we're going to get to know them. And Dyson, you might want to get a pen and paper, because there's a lot of Russian coming at you.
I can't read.
Or write. The first thing I learned when I was researching this case is that Dyatlov Pass is named after the leader of the hiking group, Igor Dyatlov.
Okay.
Another thing I learned is that undertaking expeditions like the one that this group is going to set out on was super common at this time. Like I said, 1950s, especially with students at colleges and universities. There were often opportunities to both conduct research and participate in competitive sports like hiking and skiing and stuff through this club called the Sverdlovsk Hiking Club.
Okay.
So, something people like to do.
Sverdlover.
Sverdlovsk. As I mentioned, the leader of this particular expedition was Igor Dyatlov, and he was interested in the opportunities available through the Sverdlovsk Hiking Club. He was born on January 13th, 1936, in the city of Pervu or Ulsk. Pervu or Ulsk.
Yeah.
Igor was 23 years old. He was a 5th-year radio engineering student at the Ural Polytechnic Institute. From here on out, I'm calling it UPI.
Okay.
He was described as brave, confident, and passionate. He had previously been a member of the Bureau of the UPI Tourist Society, where he later was elected a chairman. Starting in January 1959, he worked as a part-time assistant at the profession-oriented academic department, where he was later hired. In January 1959, he assembled a group for a hiking and skiing expedition across the northern Urals with the goal of reaching Goro Otorten, which is a mountain.
Okay.
Pretty sure Gora literally means mountain or mount.
We're going to go on to that mount.
Can't wait to mount it. The group also planned to take samples of rocks and other geological formations while they were on their expedition. The group was made up of the fellow.
Do not tell me there's a fellowship going up the mountain.
Of the ring.
Nice. Beautiful.
So the group was made up of fellow UPI students.
Okay.
I guess they were kind of a fellowship.
Yeah.
So let's get to know this group a bit. First, we've got 20-year-old Yuri Doroshenko, who was born on January 29th, 1938 in the village of Dvoretskaya Polyana.
If you're a listener and you're struggling to follow along, you are just a remedial student. It's your fault.
Speaking... I forget what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Speaking... Oh, oh. I got a mush brain.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he's born in Dvoretskaya Polyana, Streletsky District, Kursk region. But
Kursk region?
Kursk region.
Yeah.
Region means province, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, like the little segments.
It's very, very Soviet. So he moved to Reg in Sverdlovsk region, province, during World War II evacuations. In 1955, he graduated from secondary school number 44 in the town of Reg. By 1959, he was a fourth-year student of radio engineering at UPI, specializing in automation and measuring devices. As part of the board of UPI Sports Club, he was responsible for sports and tourism work, making him an excellent candidate for Dyatlov's team. Next member of the group, 23-year-old Yuri Krivonenko. Krivo,
Well
for short.
For shirt. This is Krivo. Here's our shirt.
This is Krivo's shirt.
Dyatlov is very happy to have shirt.
Krivo shirt. Okay, so Krivo was born on February 7th, 1935. If you're interested, he's Pisces. In the settlement of Zura in Ukraine. He was described as funny, always joking, looking to amuse his friends. Remind you of anyone. Due to his father's work and then World War II evacuations, he moved a lot as a child. He moved to Kakhovka, Ukraine in 1940, then Saratov, Russia in 1941, Uralsk in 42, Orsk in 43, Chkalov in 44, Krasnoyarsk in 46, and finally, in 1949, he settled in the city of Sverdlovsk. So it's the region Sverdlovsk, but then there's also, in Soviet times, the city Sverdlovsk, which today is Yekaterinburg.
Okay. So like New York, New York.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Also, because we're calling him Shirt, I don't know why, but he's automatically short to me. He's the like short one in the back.
I don't know how tall he was. I really hope he's small. In 1942, Krivo, aka Shirt, enrolled at UPI to study civil engineering, and by 1957, he earned his civil engineering degree, specializing in industrial and civil construction. In September 57, after earning his civil engineering degree, he enrolled in the military department at UPI, where he was a junior lieutenant of the armored forces, specializing as a platoon commander for medium tanks. The same month, he started work as a head foreman at Mayak Production Association, MPA for short. So MPA is a huge name in Russia. It's one of the largest nuclear facilities in the Russian Federation.
During the Cold War.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
In May 1958, he was transferred to another work area in MPA as a foreman, where he supervised the prisoners who were building more nuclear facilities. Gulag.
The prisoners building nuclear facilities. That's good.
Man, Soviet Russia, prisoners built most of the things.
Yeah, they were free labor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In August 1958, he tried to resign due to, quote, utmost reluctance to work in this system. But he was refused. Trust me, there's a lot more details on that later. It's a wild ride.
But it's so funny because like only Soviet Russia during the Cold War would you try to quit a job and they disapprove you.
Yeah, and it's easy for them too, right? Because they're the ones who are supplying you your education, your military training, all of that. It's on their like dime and time. So they're like, no, we don't have to because we pretty much own you.
Yeah.
Communism, man. At the end of 1958, a discharge order was finally signed. And Krivo was moved to a new workplace where he was supposed to start on January 21st. I am broken.
I know.
Deep breath. Okay. He was supposed to start at this new workplace on January 21st, but he took another leave and additional days off for, quote, hazardous duty at the previous workplace. So he really fucking hated that place.
Yeah.
He ended up with a 29-day leave, which was starting on January 19th, 1959. So it was this time he decided that he was going to go hiking. And he was an incredibly experienced hiker. He had earned badges, certifications. He completed training instructor courses at the Sverdlovsk City Tourism Department. He was qualified as a junior tourism instructor, and he'd been a member and a chairman of the Bureau of the Tourist Club at UPI. So if you want anyone on your team, it's Krivo.
Yeah.
So, of course, Dyatlov was like, fuck yeah, Krivo, let's go.
Yeah. Come along, skirt.
Shirt.
Skirt.
Skirt. Okay. 24-year-old Alessandre. That's not right. Jesus Christ.
Alexander? Alexander? Is that what you're trying to say?
I'm trying to say Alexander.
Yo, the struggle is real, just staring and trying to pronounce Russian, like, just solid Russian names.
I think I'm doing okay when I'm not just having a disorder.
Yeah.
Next member is 24-year-old Alexander Kolevatov. Koli, for short.
Nice. Alexander Coley. That's a dope name, actually.
Yes.
That was a dope name, Alexander.
Right?
Yeah.
Why did it just get broken on Alexander? I'm not sure.
I don't know.
So this guy, Koli, he was born on November 16th, 1934 in Sverdlovsk. In 1940, he moved with his parents to Tavda. They had to move because his dad was the financial director at a gulag. But in 1948, after the death of his father, the family returned to Sverdlovsk. And the dad was found dead on the railway tracks, supposedly killed by a train. But it was just swept away quickly. There was no investigation into the death. And it was pretty sus.
Yeah, that sounds very suspicious.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's got to be a pretty sweet gig, though, financial director for, like, the gulag.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Amount owing. Still 0, guys. I don't know how you haven't figured this one out yet.
Really easy to do checks and balances in a gulag.
Yeah.
So Koli enrolled in the primary organization of the Sverdlovsk Mining and Smelting College and graduated in 1953, specializing in metallurgy of heavy non-ferrous metals, with the qualification of a metallurgical technician for heavy non-ferrous metals.
Okay.
Basically, he specialized in extracting pure metals that did not contain iron.
Gotcha. Thank you.
You're welcome. I do the hard work so you don't have to. Dark Adaptation. Oh, you could hear. Oh, yeah. You're probably listening to me do pronouncenames.com.
You guys want to know how she gets broken? I'm sitting across the room and it's dead quiet and there's no typing. And then 3 times I just hear metallurgical. Metallurgical. Metallurgical.
I'm fucking dumb. I don't know how to say metallurgical without asking Google.
It's not a common word.
No, I've never seen it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't live in 1950s Soviet Russia as a non-ferrous metal specialist.
Metallurgical. Cue the communist theme song.
What would that be?
Oh, God, I'll have to show you at some point.
Shooby-dooby-doo-wah-wah.
No, it's not the Angela Anaconda theme song.
I have it stuck in my head. I haven't seen that show since I was 9. I don't know why it's stuck in my head.
You know what? I'll play it for you. You didn't salute.
Oh, well, there's probably better things to do. I could think of other gestures. But I hope you enjoyed that rendition. It's called Something Shitty Fluted. All right, after graduation, Koli, He was sent to work as a senior laboratory assistant at the Special Metals Research Institute, and this institute developed and tested technology for obtaining metallic plutonium from nitric acid solutions for industrial production.
Just an easy job.
For sure.
Yeah.
He lived in Moscow for a bit, and in 1955, he had mastered his second specialty, glass blowing.
You're fucking with me.
Glass blowing, I don't know. And nothing else.
I was going to make a joke, like something conventional, like knitting.
I don't know if it's a cover, if like he actually went away. I'll tell you what, ever since we played shitty fluted version of the communism song or whatever it is, we have just been struggling.
Yeah, someone's fucking with our audio now. We're getting hacked by the KGB now.
We're getting hacked from the past. Soviet Russia's at us.
How you doing, Vlad? Do you mind if I call you Dad?
How you doing, Vlad? Hope you don't mind. I call you Dad.
Shout out to Viper's Views. If you haven't heard of that, go watch that. That's some good shit.
Doesn't like carrots, does he? I fucking love that guy.
He's so funny.
Oh,
I think he's got a show he's got a show on TV now in Ireland. Like his own show.
His whole own show.
Yeah, I don't know if it's called Viper or something, but it's great. Anyway,
glass blowing. I don't know. You said conventional like knitting or something. I'm not really sure if he even did glass blowing. I didn't hear anything else about it and read anything else about it.
Yeah,
also,
it might just be a fucking...
Yeah, maybe he's into espionage.
He's a spook. Yeah. He's a goddamn spy.
No.
Yeah.
Not Coley.
If anything, Coley is a spy name.
I know, right?
I was like,
a spy to seek for vengeance on his murdered father.
Oh, that's dope.
Coley backstory? TM. Okay, so by September 1956, Coley moved back to Sverdlovsk and entered at UPI for physics and technology. So everyone in this story so far is just like really smart.
Yeah, these guys are fucking geniuses. What the fuck's going on? You're telling me something's bad happening to these guys, right?
Sadly.
Uh-oh.
Next.
Cool, does he? Yo, I'm introducing my theory before we even get into this. I know dick all about this. Coley did it, and he's a genius, and he found a way to obscure every kind of evidence to make it incomprehensible to any kind of investigation.
Okay.
Boom. Coley.
Solved. Anyway, thank you for tuning in. We don't have to do this anymore. It's solved.
I call my theory Coley's Clues.
Oh!
Yeah. This is great, by the way.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Next member of Dyatlov's group is 23-year-old Rustam Slobodin.
Rustam.
He goes by Rustic. He was born on January 11th, 1936 in Moscow. He was described as athletic and honest and a man of few words. In 1944, he moved to Sverdlovsk with his parents. In 1953, he finished secondary school for boys number 27 in Sverdlovsk with a silver medal.
Most Russian shit I've ever heard.
Soviet.
That is fucking great.
Yep.
School number, like, whatever.
Secondary school for boys number 27. And he got a silver medal, because in Russia, you get medals. Mm-hmm.
Silver, though.
Silver, yeah. He's like, okay.
Yeah.
He's like, better than average, I guess, ish.
He's no Coley.
Coley. At the same time, he graduated from music school, where he specialized as a violinist. And he also played the mandolin and guitar, possibly other instruments, because, he's rustic, and he went to the school for boys number 27, so...
Mm-hmm.
In 1959, he graduated from UPI, specializing in mechanical engineering. UPI offered for him to stay to further his doctoral studies, but Rustic decided to continue working as designer at Sverdlovsk Research Institute of Chemical Engineering, which was a pre-graduate position that he had obtained. This institute worked on development of special equipment for radiochemical plants. After working there for 4 months, he was granted an unpaid leave to go hiking with Dyatlov and the rest of the group.
I'm just going to say all these guys have very concerning, dangerous-sounding jobs.
Yeah.
Like some, experimental level, dangerous-sounding jobs.
Yeah, and they, pretty much are, because this is, pretty much that rush during the Cold War, where Russia is trying to build nuclear facilities and stuff as fast as they can because they want to compete with the States.
They're in some kind of race.
That's crazy.
Some kind of weapons race.
No way.
There's got to be a better name for it.
Cold War. Also, fun fact.
Arms sprint.
People think Cold War is coined after the Cold War because it was a Cold War.
Mm-hmm.
But it was only, the term Cold War was coined like a month into the Cold War.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Some guy in the States, I don't know if he was like a politician or part of government or something, but he said it in a speech because he said that just because this war is happening and there's not like guns and
It hasn't gone
bloodshed,
hot yet.
yeah, that it doesn't mean it's not a war. So it's a Cold War. And that was in like April. So
That
it's only
makes
a month in.
Well, I mean, like, that makes sense because if what's happening now with like the West and Russia and, you know, all the actors with Russia, I guess, like whether it's China and stuff like that, we don't know yet.
Mm.
They've already coined it the second Cold War.
Mhm.
Like, there's already guys who've already said it.
Mm-hmm.
So we would look back and have to say the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
History repeats itself, man.
Yeah, well, hopefully it stays cold. You know what I mean?
Freezing.
Yeah.
Okay, this next member, 23-year-old Nikolai Thibault Brignole, Thibault for short,
Oh, dope.
was born on July 5th, 1935 in the city of Osniki. Sneaky boy.
Sneaky boy.
He was described as energetic, friendly, and funny. He attended UPI, where he was a member of the tourist club, and in 1958, he graduated with a degree in industrial and civic construction and went to work as a foreman in the Department of Mechanization Number 1. Devastatingly, when he told his mother that he was going to go on this trip with Dyatlov and the group, she was adamant that he didn't go. Just for whatever reason, she was like, no, like, I don't want you to go on this trip. Like, mother's instinct, man. And he said everything would be okay and it would be his last big trip.
Yo, she fucking knew something. I'm telling you right now.
She's like, I smell it in the air.
Oh,
There's Soviet bloodshed coming.
I bet he said something to his mom.
Probably.
Like, this isn't like a normal trip.
We are going up there to get samples from minerals.
We are going deep underground.
We are going deep into the Ural Mountains. Is that Russian? What is that accent? French?
Yes, I don't know. Like a French Russian.
I should just shut the fuck up.
What the fuck was that, Brianna? The fuck kind of accent are you using right now? Stop.
Okay,
Stop, bro.
Okay, I'll stop, bro. The next member of the Dyatlov Group is 21-year-old Yuri Yudin, who was born on August 19th, 1937. He grew up in the village of Tabory. His family consisted of his mother, sister, and his older brother, who was head of the family since their father had, quote, disappeared during warfare in 1942.
Yeah, he didn't disappear. He
No.
probably got blown up.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
In 1947, the family moved to the village of Yemelyasevica.
God damn, I'm impressed by you.
Despite moving to Yemelyasevica, Yuri continued his studies at the secondary school in the village of Tabory for the next 10 years, which was 40 kilometers from home.
Secondary school number 27.
Probably. During the school year, he lived in Tabory, where he basically just rented part of a room to stay there. But for the holidays, he went home on foot. So these very long, very exhausting walks caused health issues.
Mm-hmm.
But these health issues, ironically, would save his life later. So.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm. In 1954, Yuri enrolled at UPI, but had to take an academic leave because he was hospitalized for nearly 6 months after being diagnosed with rheumatic heart disease. And then he got sick with acute dysentery, so woof.
This guy's gone through it.
Do you know what dysentery is?
No.
Okay, you basically just get really gnarly diarrhea.
Oh.
Like you shit yourself. It's mucousy and bloody.
Oh, okay. No. I was debating where I had that once. When did I eat lipstick?
Ew! It's just beets.
Just beets.
I'll tell you, one time I took a poo and I was so afraid, and I realized it was because I ate a whole bunch of beets the day before. So it wasn't just a bloody poo, it was just because I ate a lot of beets.
Still gave you a bit of a shock, did it?
Oh, I was scared.
Yeah.
Then I remembered all the beets I ate. So Yuri finally recovered and he re-enrolled for his first year at UPI in September 1955, studying engineering and economics. He joined the UPI Tourist Club and went on a Category 1 hike with Shenko, Yuri Doroshenko. So that was the first member of the Dyatlov Group that I talked about. Mm-hmm. And they had gone on a trip to the Ural Mountains. And a Category 1 hike is that you were on a well-established trail the entire time.
Okay.
You're not like roughing it in any way. Mm-hmm. Yuri also went on a trek with Igor Dyatlov across the Altai Mountains in the summer of 1958. So he was also an experienced hiker.
Okay.
By 1959, he was a fourth-year student at UPI and the head of the organizational sector of the UPI Tourism Club Euro. And he was preparing for another trek with his friends. Mm-hmm. So the next person we have is 22-year-old Zenaida Kolmogorova.
Okay, I'm not even going to try that.
Xena, for short.
Oh, Jesus. What's with the fucking dope nicknames they get?
This is the first of the two women in the trip. So there's only two women that go.
Jesus Christ, we're going to go hiking in the fucking mountains. Or is it safe? Don't worry, one of the chicks coming with us is named fucking Xena.
Yeah.
We'll be fine. And if anything, the mountains should look out.
And she is badass too. Mm-hmm. So Xena was born on January 12th, 1937 in the village of Chiryumhova in Sverdlovsk. She was described as very outgoing and energetic. She attended handicraft school number 30 from 1951 to 54 in Kamensk, Uralsky, where she received the specialty radio equipment controller.
Oh, that's a sick job.
At the same time, she did practical training at secondary school for working youth number 6. In 1952, she had an internship at Avia Prom Enterprise, which I believe is like an airline or an airline production place. I'm not sure, but pretty cool. Mm-hmm. After graduating from secondary school in 1954, she enrolled at UPI to study radio engineering and was also a member of the UPI Tourist Department. She had recently started her pre-graduation practice at a radio production factory, but asked for some time off to go on this expedition with the Dyatlov Group. She was an experienced hiker who had her share of difficulties on these trips. So during one of the trips, she was fucking bitten by a viper.
Well,
and despite this horrible pain and absolute suffering from being bit by a fucking viper, she refused to lighten her load, unwilling to cause hardship to anyone else, and she just fucking trekked on.
All right. Well, that's fucking sick.
Sounds like something Xena would do.
It does. Xena would probably bite the viper's head off.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Grabbed it and ripped it in half and then cooked it on the fire.
Made a tourniquet for her leg with it.
I was gonna say, do snakes have bones?
Yes. I'm going with yes.
Like a spine, probably, right?
Yeah, they got bones. Like there's snake heads and stuff, right?
Yeah. Okay, cool. Okay, we're done.
Yeah.
So, Xena didn't.
If not, they're worms.
Ew!
It's just a toothy worm.
Ew!
He's gonna bite you.
That sound nope. Okay, so anyway, Xena, she didn't know until the first day of the trip with the Dyatlov Group that her former boyfriend, Shenko, was also going to be there. They had recently broken up, and they seemed to be on decent terms, but apparently she had written to a friend that it was really hard to be there with him since, quote, "We are together and yet we're not together." So physically on a trip together, but not like a couple anymore. So
right.
Xena was feeling a little bit sad.
Oh, okay. Sad Xena.
She's still fucking sick, though.
Yes. Just fucking carrying around her dead snake with her still.
On a stick.
On a stick.
Next, we have 20-year-old Ludmila Dubania, the other woman in the group and the youngest. She was born on May 12th, 1938.
Wow.
I was like, I can pick it up.
It's your birthday.
That's my birthday, May 12th. Everyone send me a present.
I have to ask me what your middle name is.
Oh, Good Lord. Okay. So she was born on May 12th, 1938. Same, I'm that old. In Kegelstrov. And because of her father's work, the family moved around a lot. It seems to be a common theme for these people. She moved to Sverdlovsk in 1953 and graduated from school number 13 in 1955. She then enrolled at UPI to study civil engineering, specializing in urban construction and economy. Mm-hmm. She loved to sing and to take pictures. She was a very good photographer, and a lot of the photos we see and have from this trek is because she took so many. She was also an excellent hiker. During a previous hike through the eastern Ural Mountains in 1957, she was accidentally shot in the leg by a hunter who accompanied the students, and she just suffered through it, didn't really complain, and just hiked back even though it was so fucking painful and lengthy, and she just braved through it.
Fucking hunter's probably a fucking idiot.
Well, yeah.
Oh, shit.
Oh, I shot Ludmila.
Yeah, you can walk it off, right?
And she did.
Yep.
The last person to join Dyatlov in the group is a fourth-year UPI student named Slavik Bienko, but I'm not going to talk about him too much because you'll see why. So,
all right.
That makes up 10 hikers, all of which were experienced hikers from UPI. They're very smart kids, and thus a perfect group for this expedition.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got Igor, Shenko, Krivo, Koli, Rustic, Thibaut, Yuri, Zina, Luda, and Slavik.
Okay.
Do you like horror movies?
Do you like hanging out with your friends?
Do you like having a laugh?
Do you like podcasts?
Well, you should check out our podcast, Spoils of Horror.
We're not a review show.
We're a horror movie hangout where we talk about movies that are lost, forgotten, popular, and bizarre, all in the scary realm.
You can listen to our podcast while you're doing just about anything.
You could be washing your dishes.
You could be washing your cat.
You could be washing your genitals. All forms of genitals accepted.
We are a fully inclusive genitalia show.
Yes, we are the #1 ideal podcast for washing your genitals.
Our genital Yelp reviews are unsurpassed.
5.5 stars.
You don't want to know where that half came from.
Now that you know that, check us out on all major platforms.
You can search for Spoils of Horror on all social media sites.
Come and hang out with us. We'd love to see you.
And your genitals.
Bye.
With the group together, Dyatlov's team sat down to design the route through the Ural Mountains. Their goal was to reach Gora Otorten in the northern regions of Sverdlovsk. The, quote, route they planned on taking was very vague, plus they planned on hiking it at the end of January to the beginning of February, which is the most difficult time to hike.
It's just drawn in crayon. It just says up. And then it has a little doodle of them celebrating on top of a little mountain.
Stick people, of course.
Stick people, obviously, yeah.
Yep, that's
and probably... a very, very intricately detailed USSR flag.
Shitty fluted.
Shitty fluted.
So, yeah, this is the most difficult time to hike. End of January into the beginning of February. So this makes sense when you have worries from family members like Thibaut's who are saying like, oh my God, I don't want you to go. Oh, don't even worry about it. It'll be fine. It's my last big hike. And also on top of it, this vague idea of the route and the harsh conditions is just asking for a nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
So the area of the Urals that the, quote, route went through was not sufficiently studied. There weren't any detailed public maps of the area. Igor had to ask an acquaintance of his who was like a geologist and a pilot to help him like sort of develop a route that they could take because the sports club and the Sverdlovsk Route Commission didn't have a map of the area where Igor planned to lead his group.
Oh, that's your first red flag right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So he had to design one and submit it and stuff. So he talked to this pilot friend or whatever and pitched the route idea that he had sort of developed with some guy to the rest of Dyatlov Group, but no one in the group could completely agree on the best route to take. So Igor said he'd finalize the route and make sure it was solid and good and whatever, and he'd send it to SRC, which is the Sverdlovsk Route Commission. He sent it to them, he'd get approval, and apparently he never did that, though.
Okay.
Yeah, so despite that, and the associated dangers with hiking at that time of year, and just all of the intensities that come with an expedition like this, the group was approved by the SRC on January 23rd, 1959, and they were issued their route book, which listed their course as following the number 5 trail. I tried to look this up to see what the number 5 trail was, if it had already been mapped out or what. I assume it's a previously mapped out route since Dyatlov never submitted his route. So I don't think that they followed number 5. I think that they were going on whatever Igor's plan was.
Okay, so they just straight up lied to the commission.
I can't say yes or no, but I can say that
potentially they did.
Yeah, something doesn't line up here, and Igor Dyatlov did not do his due diligence there.
Fucking damn it, Igor.
Yeah. So the group found out last minute that Slavik couldn't join them. So that's the last member that I had mentioned, Slavik Beniko. And I was like, I'm not going to talk about him because he doesn't really matter.
Yep.
So they had found out last minute he can't come because UPI's dean's office didn't allow him to. And this was likely due to some sort of problems with his studies.
It could be a medical problem, such as him having a horseshoe up his ass.
Right.
Yeah.
So then, right before the group of 9 now is about to head out, they get this last-minute addition to their trek. It's a man named Semyon Zolotaryov, and he was originally supposed to go on a totally different expedition, a whole different group, had nothing to do with Dyatlov, but was changed to Dyatlov's group. Semyon was born on February 2nd, 1921, in the village of Udobnoy. So it made him 37 years old at the time of this trip. So he was much older than the rest of the group. And more recently, he had worked as a phys ed teacher at various schools, but he had a military background as well. At 20, Semyon was drafted into the Red Army in October 1941. The Red Army is the armed forces of Soviet Russia. And upon arrival at the unit, he was sent to the School of Junior Commanders. After 2 months of training, he was awarded the rank of corporal. From February to March 1942, as a squad leader, he took part in, quote, construction of defensive fortification of Rostov. So, Rostov is a city.
Okay.
I don't know, he was situated there to fortify the city, I guess. He fought in the war from October 5th, 1942 to the end, where he had fought in all kinds of brigades and battalions. Apparently he was never wounded or shell-shocked, and he was often one of only a few that would get out of battle alive.
Yeah, because they have a military doctrine of essentially just send as many as you can until they run out of bullets.
Yeah. So, for example, there was one battle, and he was one of 20 men who survived out of a brigade of nearly 500 men.
Yeah.
And, he did this multiple times, so he also had a horseshoe up his ass for a while. At the end of the war, he was awarded the Order of the Red Star, which is awarded for extraordinary valor in defense of the Soviet Union. And he was awarded 3 medals. One for the defense of Stalingrad, one for the capture of Königsberg.
Dude fought in Stalingrad? Jesus Christ.
And one for the victory over Germany in the Great Patriotic War.
Okay, yeah. So this guy really does have a horseshoe up his ass. Those are not easy.
No.
Those were
and he
literally
was
just sending waves of people.
By the end of the war, he was 23. He's a baby.
Yeah.
He's a baby.
Yep.
So, interestingly, Semyon told the Dyatlov Group that his name was Alexander. And in diary entries, he's referred to as Sasha K. So that's what I'm going to call him from now on, Sasha K.
Okay.
On documents pertaining to the expedition, so you have to do a bunch of paperwork and stuff because it's fucking Soviet Russia, he lied about certain details. For example, he sometimes wrote his birthday as February 1st. Other times he wrote it as February 2nd. And this is interesting because there's always been heavy speculation and theories that Semyon Alexander, Sasha K, whatever his name is, might not be his real name, and he had assumed someone else's identity during the war. Or he was trying to, very hard to veil his real life and hide accurate details. So there will be more details on that little conspiracy later, don't you worry. But just, it's also strange that he was a last-minute addition to Dyatlov's group. And it's I don't know who said he should go in this group. I don't know why he switched into this group. Whatever the reason is, it's weird because he did not have anything in common with the rest of these kids. And he was so much older that, he wasn't in the same education or employment field. The only thing he had in common was hiking, and hiking was only a hobby or whatever that he had recently gotten into. So it's weird that he was put in this group last minute instead of a group of people who have similar demographic and interests and stuff.
Yeah, he just doesn't fit in at all.
So it's
like
just
a
weird.
how do you do fellow kids meme.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just weird. It just doesn't really fit, and it's just something to keep in mind. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's January 23rd, 1959, and the Dyatlov Group have their route book in their possession, and they've got this stranger, Sasha K, as a last-minute addition. At first, the group really didn't even want him to join, but they felt that they couldn't refuse Sasha K because there was originally supposed to be 10 people, but with Slavic dropping out last minute, they considered it a sign that 10 people were supposed to go on this trek. Quote, "Thus, as we were 10, we remained 10.
Okay. That sounds like a fucking last words bark type situation.
I mean, this was written in the diary, and the diary was pretty much their last words.
Oh, God.
So the group frantically got their gear and supplies together to leave Sverdlovsk, to the point that some members forgot to pack things like extra sweaters, some money, salt, just random stuff like that they would need.
I forgot my salts.
My fucking salt! So they were rushing around like crazy, and they finally boarded train number 45 at 8:05 p.m. with literally seconds to spare. They were alongside another group of hikers, the Dyatlov Group. So they all hung out on the train together, singing songs while Rustic played the mandolin. And a lot of the songs that they learned actually came from Sasha K. Probably because he's a fucking old man compared to them. And also he was in the army, and literally what else do you do, especially when you're traveling?
Yeah.
In your brigade, you're just all fucking singing. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
On the train, they just took naps. The guys talked, and they swore that they'd give up cigarettes for the whole trip. And everyone talked together about the trip and pondered what it would be like and what was in store for them. They were pretty excited. They had traveled 388 kilometers, which is 241 miles north, and arrived at Serov Station at 7:39 a.m. on January 24th. They were in Serov for 11 hours, and they had a mixed experience here. Quote, "At the station, we were met with hell of a hospitality. They didn't allow us into the building. The policeman stares at us suspiciously. There is no crime or vandalism in the city as it is supposed to be in times of communism."
Okay.
Yeah, so immediately very hostile.
Yep.
And then fucking Krivo decided that he was going to sing a song outside the train station and make an ass of himself and put his cap out like he was looking for change. And the police immediately arrested him. And they arrested him for, quote, deception and, quote, disturbing the peace.
All right.
So then the group had to go and bail him out. And then after they bailed him out, the police were like, "You have to get the fuck out of this train station. We don't want you in here. You're being a bunch of disruptive kids." So they had to try to find a place to stay while they waited for their next train. But they had the fucking worst time trying to find somewhere. So they basically were just wandering around the station trying to see where they could hang out. And they found a school that greeted them very pleasantly. Quote, "We were welcomed warmly in the school near the railway station. The steward, she is also a janitor, boiled some water and helped us with everything we needed for the preparation of the trek." So at least I found one nice lady here.
Yeah.
They spent time prepping and cleaning their gear. Xena was feeling a bit blue and homesick, so she wrote a letter to her family asking them to write her in Visay, which is a future stop. Then the group spent some time with the students from the school who were absolutely mesmerized by their tales of hiking and skiing and camping, and they were asking like 9,000 questions because that's what curious children do.
Mm-hmm. That's their job.
I'm a kid, that's my job. And when it was time for them to board the next train to take them to their next destination, the kids were like yelling and screaming and crying because they didn't want them to go.
Yeah.
It was like the best day ever.
Police came in and arrested all the kids for disturbing the peace.
At 6:47 p.m., they boarded train number 81. On the train, a drunk passenger confronted the guys in the group, yelling that they had stolen a bottle of vodka from him and demanded it back. They tried to ignore him, but the drunken passenger kept insisting that they were thieves. And this continued to the point that the conductor had to take the drunk guy and Dyatlov Group to the police station for, quote, disturbing the peace. Oh, so this incident is interesting because, again, they're involved with the police.
Mm-hmm.
And also because Igor Dyatlov had made a note to buy vodka. And if for some reason he didn't or couldn't buy vodka, then it's possible that he or one of the other guys in the group stole some from the drunk passenger. And it's speculation, obviously, but I thought it was interesting.
Yeah.
And something else weird about this trip on the train is that Igor had only purchased 9 train tickets. There's 10 of them. So Lydia, the youngest, the girl, she apparently had to hide under the train seat the whole trip. I guess so, like no one asked for her ticket or something.
Yeah, because they would come up and down the rows.
And she was like hidden, like under backpacks and shit.
Maybe they were a bit of fucking hoodlums.
So like, it's just weird because like Slavic did drop out, but the plan was always for 10 anyway, and he dropped out last minute, and then he was immediately replaced with Semyon or Sasha K. So it's like it's not like you wouldn't have had 10 tickets. So it's just weird.
Yeah, it is very strange.
And then you'll see that I am kind of painting this picture of ways that Igor Dyatlov is maybe not the best leader. But yeah, I just don't think it's impossible that him or one of the guys did steal this guy's vodka.
Yeah.
Just, again, painting a picture. On this train ride, the group traveled another 134 kilometers, or 82 miles, north, arriving outside Ivdel at 11:42 p.m. They spent the night in the train station, sleeping and taking turns watching their backpacks and equipment. They boarded a bus around 6 a.m. on January 25th to go into the city of Ivdel, where they were dropped off at the post office to stamp their route books. Around 7 a.m., a small, crowded bus took both the Dyatlov and Blinov groups on a 90-kilometer, 56-mile trip north to the village of Visay, where they arrived at around 2 p.m. The group got their route books stamped for the second time at the post office in Visay, parted ways from the Blinov group, went to see the film Symphony in Gold, and then hunkered down in the, quote, hotel they were staying in, where they prepped for their expedition and ate warm loaves of bread, goulash, and drank tea to keep their energy levels up for the first day of hiking. I say, quote, hotel, because the group diary shows an entry where someone wrote, quote, we slept in so-called hotel. 2 people per bed. Sasha K and Krivo slept on the floor between beds.
Okay.
Wasn't very
good.
Wasn't very fancy, this place. Also, there's a pattern where Sasha K and Krivo get the shit end of the stick when it comes to sleeping.
Yeah. I imagine Sasha K is fucking
Yeah, he's
like, oh, I've seen way fucking worse. I'll sleep on the floor.
and he's immediately an outcast anyway because he's not a fellow student of UPI. He's not their friend. He's some weirdo fucking guy who just joined them.
Yeah.
But then Krivo, I don't know, like he always get. We'll see. It's the
And
shittiest.
in his diary, it just says, "Dear diary, I am in love with Sasha K.
Aww,
I will sleep on floor with him.
that was French.
I will suck his dick."
I love me a social cake croissant.
Croissant?
From the group diary, in an entry that was written by Zena, quote, "We had a tearful goodbye with the Dyatlov Group. The mood sank. In general, I am very, very sad. We are extremely lucky. The Symphony in Gold was showing. We left all of our things and packs at the hotel and went to the club. The image was a bit fuzzy, but it didn't overshadow the pleasure at all. Krivo, sitting next to me, was smacking his lips and oohing with delight. This is real happiness, so difficult to describe with words. The music is just fabulous. The mood after the movie greatly improved. Igor Dyatlov was unrecognizable. He tried to dance and even started singing Oh Jackie Joe."
Okay. What the fuck is Ho Jackie Joe?
Oh Jackie Joe. Okay, Symphony in Gold is like a Russian figure skating musical romance movie, I think. So,
Like Blades of Glory.
not even as good though.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. I love Blades of Glory.
I love that movie so much.
Too. So yeah, that entry was just to show that their moods were pretty low. They were a little bit depressed. They had to say goodbye to their other group. It's also just hard to be traveling so much, so fast, so randomly, sleeping in stations and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Then you get to like this quote hotel that's shit, and you have to share a bed, or some people have to sleep on the floor.
It all sounds so exhausting
Yeah.
just to embark on a trip.
Yeah, you
that
haven't
is
even started hiking yet.
specifically to be exhausting. Yeah, like it's just, oh man, I'm so sick of traveling before you even get to the point where you're supposed to start your travels.
Exactly, and that's part of this picture that I'm painting of like they haven't even started hiking yet. They're already just crammed together, flying by the seat of their pants in these stressful situations where they are already exhausted. So there's this roller coaster of emotions happening. So they're sad because this other group is leaving and they're in a shit hotel. Then they get to see Symphony in Gold, so it's kind of exciting. So they get a little bit more invigorated, and to the point that Igor Dyatlov, who is like very sort of laid back and like reserved, is like dancing and singing "Oh Jackie Joe," and it's just a roller coaster for these people. And yeah, they're not even hiking yet.
Yeah.
So after the theater, they go back to their shitty hotel and sleep. And the group got up the next day at 9 a.m., so January 26th. And then at about 10, the group sent their letters and postcards to their friends and family. And Igor wrote multiple letters and was also supposed to send telegrams with mandatory checkpoint notifications of their journey to the UPI Sports Club and the Routing Commission City Committee for Physical Culture and Sport.
All right.
But there's no evidence that he did that. He did not send any
just don't do that.
checkpoints.
No.
So that's what I'm saying here is when I'm like, just painting this picture, trying to establish a pattern here with Igor, who is the leader of this group, and just, I don't know if he's not taking it seriously or if he's out of his element or what.
Can't send checkpoints because I lied about our route. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know where we're going, guys.
That might be a part of it. But like, you're already going to fucking mail postcards and stuff, so you... he's not a very good leader right now. It's very annoying. After lunch at 1:30 p.m., the stamps in their route books show that the group hitched a ride to the District 41 settlement, which is 40 kilometers or 25 miles north of Visay. And they had to ride up to District 41 on this rickety logging truck that had no brakes or shock absorbers. And they had to ride in the open back of the truck, which was covered by a dingy, shitty tent thing, so that they're exposed to the elements the whole time, and the wind is just whipping through for 40 kilometers
How
straight.
does it have no brakes?
Because it's Soviet Russia, in the middle
What
of
do
nowhere.
They just fucking hope they hit a log roll?
I think so.
Jesus.
Like, I don't really know, but like dog shit truck. So they're freezing, and this is 40 kilometers or 25 miles that they're whipping through the mountains, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And then a lot in the truck, riding along with the hikers, was this man named Alexei Khatanziv, who oversaw, quote, cultural and propaganda work with the local population.
Love it.
And he was traveling.
I want his job. That sounds like fun to me.
He was just wait. He was traveling to District 41 as well.
Yep.
Not to hike, but to organize a film screening.
All right.
So around 4:30 p.m., they arrive at District 41, where they were warmly greeted by civilian workers. And for some reason in the diaries, they were very poignant to say, they weren't prisoners. Don't worry. They're civilian workers. They're not prisoner workers. We're not at a gulag.
Right. Yeah, sure.
So in District 41, there was no radios or newspapers.
Mm-hmm.
So I think seeing people was very exciting. You have like this whole truck that all of a sudden comes in with 10 like fresh-faced hikers. They're kids. They're excited. So I think everyone in town was like, oh,
yeah, because like outside
what's
of
going
Moscow,
on?
like Russia's just crazy expansive.
yeah. Oh, yeah. So yeah, these people are living way up north, pushing the Ural Mountains, basically.
Mm-hmm.
No radio, no newspaper. And they're just like, oh my God, please tell us everything. So
People from the real world.
yeah, do you picture the little aliens in the machine, the claw machine in Toy Story?
Yes.
So the group was staying in District 41 dormitory, which was managed by a man named Ognev, aka the Beard. Apparently, he had this huge, gorgeous ginger beard that everyone was obsessed with, so they just called him the Beard.
All right.
And yeah, everyone loved the Beard. He was very hospitable, he was sweet, he was funny. People loved him. Mm-hmm. So the Dyatlov Group and the locals hung out. They sang songs, played on their guitars, taught them some Mansi words and phrases.
Some Mansi words.
So Mansi, M-A-N-S-I, is the group of indigenous people that live in the area, into the mountains of this area.
Okay.
The people they were hanging out with weren't Mansi, but because it's a tiny settlement, they were always interacting with Mansi people.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're in Visay and you're traveling up into the mountains where Mansi people live, you're seeing their signs and settlements and stuff.
Right,
so they were
pragmatic.
They're familiar with Mansi culture and language.
Mm-hmm.
So just to like kill time and have fun, they were teaching Dyatlov Group Mansi words and phrases. And in the evening, everyone was, quote, treated to the film screening, which included, quote, cultural programs and, quote, Soviet movies.
Okay.
One of the movies is called
to see this shit.
My Apprenticeship. Another movie is called Est Tavkoi Perrin. And once again, they were watched Symphony in Gold.
Oh.
So, they watched 2 essentially propaganda movies and then 1 actual like Soviet film.
Yeah.
Then they retired for the night.
Mm-hmm.
Quote, after the cinema, everyone was very tired and wanted to sleep. We lay down with Zina on a spring bed. It's a dream come true. And the guys are all on the floor. Mood is bad and probably will be for 2 more days. Evil as hell.
What?
Right. So, I'm pretty sure this entry was written by Ludia, who's the youngest girl. And
Got a little bit of a crush on Xena for sure.
So I think she says it's a dream come true because they get to sleep on a spring bed.
Oh, okay.
I had to read this a few times though, because it's just all over the place. It's a dream come true, but then everyone's in a bad mood and it's evil and whatever.
Right. Because her and Xena are just good friends.
Yeah, so her and Xena are just good friends. They're sharing a bed.
History will remember them as the best of friends.
Constant companion. Loyal companion.
Loyal companion.
So they get to sleep on the bed, probably because they're the only 2 women. So, the men are just being gents.
Uh-huh.
And I think it's a dream come true because it's a spring bed. So it's not like some shitty sack of hay or something.
Right.
And all the guys had to sleep on the floor. So they're like probably not the happiest about that. I don't know why the mood is bad though. And I don't think she means evil as hell, as in like actually evil. I think it's a translation thing.
Yeah, I could see that. Just like a turn of phrase. Like,
Yeah. Like maybe
there's
it's just like
stuff.
horrible or terrible or something. I
Mhm.
don't think it actually means evil. But I can't fucking read Russian, so I don't know.
Mhm.
But basically, again, showcasing this roller coaster
Yeah.
these people are on.
Yeah. It's a long trip.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's nonstop. The only time you have downtime is to watch the propaganda film.
And lie on the floor.
Yeah. So, as you'll remember, maybe, hopefully, Yuri Yudin was the guy who lived in Tabori village and had to walk 40 kilometers to go home.
Right, with the like pre-existing condition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, right. Tons of health problems. So, after that dog shit trip from Visay to District 41, where they're in that rickety fucking truck and they're uncovered in the back with wind whipping around and bouncing around because there's no shock absorbers.
Mm-hmm.
After that trip,
Yep.
he felt like shit. Like, his condition worsened. His sciatic nerve was getting activated and he had like a really bad sciatica.
Okay. Yeah.
So to continue an expedition that was going to be this like difficult and very physical,
Mhm.
it was going to be impossible without becoming a burden if he continued to feel this way. So he talked with the group and he decided that he would go with them to their next destination the following day, which is a site called Second Northern, and it's basically an abandoned geological site. So he said, I'll hike with you up there, and if I don't feel better by the time we get up there, I'll turn around, but I want to see how I feel actually hiking, because they haven't actually gone hiking yet.
Yeah, they've just taken a really long, strenuous trip.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he's like, we'll do that. It's not going to be too hard and strenuous on me. When I get to Second Northern, we'll see how I feel. I'll make my final decision.
Right. You don't want to find out at like third or fourth Northern that you can't make it. You don't want to embarrass your alumni of the 27th elementary school by stumbling on your trek to the third Northern.
You don't.
You hop right back on to train 6 and you get back home to province 1.
That's why I had to include all of those. So Soviet. I'm obsessed with it.
It's great. They, of course, and everything's fucking brutalist architecture. It's just, of course, everything's numbered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the next day is January 27th, and the group prepped for their first day of hiking. So they were sad to leave the beard, mainly because he was so hospitable. His hospitality was amazing. And they were sad because he was always making them like fresh, warm bread, and it was delicious.
Aw. I love the beard. He
I
sounds
know,
great.
they loved him too, so they were sad to leave him. But, you know, he took some photos with them and gave them all hugs, and he wrote some manzy words for them to study and learn in the group diary. And he's fucking sick.
Yeah.
So before leaving Visay, Igor stated that he would send a telegram to the UPI Sports Club as soon as they returned to Visay after the trip.
Okay.
And they would return, most likely, February 12th. That's what he said. So at 4 p.m., Uncle Slava, who is a local horse carter, loaded the group's backpacks and equipment onto the horse-drawn sled, which the group followed on skis. And Uncle Slava is another character here who everyone loved. He was like funny and kind. He was very charismatic. And they just had an absolute riot hiking to Second Northern with this guy.
Okay.
So what's also nice about District 41 is that they only had one horse, and they lent the only horse in town to this group so that they could haul their backpacks to Second Northern.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's also why Uncle Slava had to go, because he's like, I'm going to make sure I get my fucking horse back.
I need that thing back, let me tell you.
It's our only horse.
Yeah. Just our only horse.
It's a one-horse town.
Oh. Really is. Wow.
Woo! It's a one-horse district.
One horse district. Yeah. This is horse number 1.
So, this first day of hiking, It was a gorgeous day. It was very warm and sunny. It was 5 degrees Celsius. It was awesome. So the group was happy and excited for their first day of hiking. And they talked about how grateful they were to have met so many nice people in District 41, which, started to seem rare because they were just running into trouble and meeting shitty people. So they were just happy to have this really good experience. And the trek took them along Lozva River and Ushma River up to the Second Northern. And the site at Second Northern, which is the abandoned geological site, consisted of 24 houses and only one was suitable to spend the night. Quote,
Okay.
Many houses, warehouses, premises, old vehicles, and machine tools. Everything's been abandoned since 1952. The houses are all destroyed. There's only one with a stove and glass on the windows. The place is picturesque. Lozva River is wide, lots of limestone. Uncle Slava says that in the summer you can cross the river. Many warm, hot springs. Sagebrush is not entirely frozen, and there are places under the snow where water is not frozen. End quote.
Okay.
So, they were still happy with it.
I love how detailed these fucking diary entries are.
They have nothing else to do.
Yeah, I guess.
I love it too because it puts us right there with them.
Like, when would you visit a place and be like, you guys got water running underground even in the winter?
Even though there's 4 feet of snow, is there still running water?
Yeah.
Curious, asking for a friend.
Yeah.
And Uncle Slava is like, let me tell you.
This
There's
is my horse. I'm coming
mini
back with it."
warm hot spring. Sagebrush is not entirely frozen. There are places under the snow where water is not frozen.
Hmm.
Uncle Slava.
Yeah. Uncle Slava.
So they started a fire with wood boards. Apparently several people hurt their hands on old nails, but they didn't care and everything was great.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Okay.
So they stayed up talking and joking around until 3 a.m. So they were just having a party.
Mm-hmm.
So during that hike to Second Northern, Yuri Yudin knew that he would have to leave the next day. His sciatica was worse than ever. He was just suffering, so he knew he would not be able to do this whole trek.
Yeah.
So in the morning, January 28th, Yuri went with some of the members of the group to gather a few mineral samples from the geological site.
Mm-hmm.
They found only pyrite veins in the rocks, but they drilled for some samples anyway. 99% sure pyrite is fool's gold.
I think so. Yeah, that sounds right.
Why wouldn't I look that up? Because I was so confident. That's why.
Yeah. Well, you've done it. You guys got quesadillas, right?
Oh, yeah.
For anyone who's missing out on that one.
Everyone, you mean, who's missing out on...
Yeah,
you guys
everybody.
got quesadillas, right?
Okay, like 8 or 9 years ago, I went to fucking Eastside Mario's and I got a quesadilla. I guarantee it. I'm pretty sure, and I don't miss or remember.
I
things like
guarantee
that.
it, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Anyway, we recently went with some friends, and I confidently didn't look at the menu. And she's like, "You know what you want?" I'm like, "Yeah, you guys got quesadillas, right?" And no, they didn't. So then I had to fucking look at the menu. Anyway.
Oh my god, you're so bad at delivering stories.
I was being expeditious.
We go to Isa and Mario's. The waitress comes over. Buddy hasn't looked at the menu. And the waitress is like, okay, is everyone ready? And the 3 friends, like me and my 2 friends, we're like closing our menus to be like, yes, we're ready. And Dyson just looks at the waitress and goes, you guys got quesadillas, right? And she was like, no, we're not Mexican.
Yeah.
And you were like, oh, You were so certain that they had quesadillas.
I was positive.
So they brought you a club wrap instead, and they stuck the most obnoxious Italian flag toothpick in that thing. There you go.
I just want to point out they're not a fucking... They're an Italian restaurant. And they served me a fucking club wrap, so...
You guys got quesadillas,
yeah,
right?
why can't you have a quesadilla?
Long story short, I'm going to have to make Dyson a quesadilla.
Oh, yeah, you do.
Did you Google pyrite?
Yes, and you were right.
Okay, so, yeah, Yuri's like, I can't fucking continue on this trek, but I'm here. I'll take some geological samples. They only got fool's gold. Whatever. I'll take it.
Mm-hmm.
So he takes his fool's gold back to the site where everyone else is. He says his goodbyes to the group. Zena and Lydia were especially sad that he had to leave. They loved him. They got along so good with him because he is just a fucking sweetheart. And before he leaves, Igor told him that even though when they were in District 41. He said that he originally expected to be back in Visay by February 12th, but he actually expected to be longer than that.
Okay, what the fuck's up, Igor? What are you
he
doing
has
here?
no idea. He has no idea when they'll make certain dates and when they'll even be home.
Yeah, and he's just being generally suspicious.
I know!
Yeah.
So Yuri is like, okay, like, whatever, good to know.
Mhm.
But everyone in Visay, or District 41, is going to report to Visay that it's February 12th. So Yuri's like, okay, well, I'm going now. So he leaves the Dyatlov Group and he heads back with Uncle Slava and the horse. The one horse town.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what I'm saying when it is a decision that saves Yuri Yudin's life.
Mm-hmm.
Because he doesn't feel well and he makes that hard decision to not continue with the group.
Yeah.
But the remaining members of Dyatlov's group carried on their journey. They were taking pictures of the scenery, of each other. They're keeping track of their days and experiences in the diaries. And this episode has probably been long enough, so that's where I'm going to leave it.
Oh, shit. You literally said that right where our default end marker is for...
Whoa, really?
Yeah, you called it at 1 hour and 16 minutes.
Holy fuck.
Yeah. Or that's where our default tag is.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
After at the beginning of this, I said, "Hey guys, you think I would know by now?"
I'm really glad you don't actually sound like that.
I'm going to start. This is our podcast.
Oh my god.
Oh, ew.
Oh.
Please don't unsubscribe. I won't do it again. So, yeah, I'm going to leave it here. I could keep going on, honestly, but we have to stop at some point. So, Yuri Yudin departing from the group, I think, is a good place for us to stop, take a little breather. Also, like I said, this might be a 3-parter. Not sure. I'm not done writing this fucking thing.
I think it's going to be a 3-parter.
I still
There's
have
so much detail.
Because I have to. I can't help it.
You have to because it's a fucking huge mystery that hasn't been solved yet.
Exactly.
If you don't know these things, then you're going to have a shitty opinion by the end of it.
Yeah, uninformed.
Yeah.
Totally. And also there is so people know, like, quote, know the Dyatlov Pass Incident.
Mm-hmm.
They have all at least heard of it or have heard the conspiracy theories that go with it. And a lot of the times it's because you listened to an episode or watched a documentary or a YouTube video or whatever and heard about it in 50 minutes. So inherently it's going to push some sort of narrative at you in 50 minutes.
Yeah.
Or leave out so much that there's only 1 or 2 conclusions you can draw from. And I physically can't do that.
Yeah.
I can't do that. There's so much information in this story. And I think that, first of all, people in the Dyatlov Group deserve to have this story told the way it's laid out.
Yeah.
And also, you as a listener deserve to know as much information is pertinent to make a decision down the road when we do talk about all of the crazy theories that are out there.
Yeah.
And it's just how I have to do it.
Yeah.
And we're not here to skim the surface. It's a fucking deep dive, people. Dyatlov Pass. Summer, you recommended this. What have you done? So, yeah. Next week, we will pick up with the rest of the Dyatlov group. Yuri's left now, so it's just the 9 of them. So we'll see where their trek takes them. Spoiler, things get increasingly worse.
Yeah.
For a number of reasons. Obviously, we know that these 9 hikers die, but we got to hear about it. Got to hear about the trek. Hear about the tragedy. We're going to find out about the recovery of their bodies, which was a whole fucking process in its own, and most likely the autopsy findings. So that's what's in store next week.
Okay.
Dyson, what are you feeling? What are you thinking so far?
I'm excited for the new episodes. I want to know. I don't know that much about this story. I just know hikers go on a hike, they die, and things didn't make sense. That's actually the extent I know.
Okay.
And I know you've talked about it to me before, saying like, things just didn't add up when they found the body. That's all I know. I haven't seen the even like brief videos explaining this thing.
All right.
Yeah.
So you're
I'm
in
coming
you're
in
in
fresh.
for it.
I'm coming in fresh.
Fresh.
I'm going in cold, and we're gonna get hot.
Are you fresh or fresh frozen?
Fresh frozen, chef.
Fresh frozen, chef.
Yes.
Is this fresh? Yeah, it's fresh. It tastes frozen. Yeah, fresh frozen.
Fresh frozen.
Outdated Gordon Ramsay references.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so that's how Dyson's feeling. I'm feeling good to start talking about this out loud and like getting it out of my brain.
Yeah.
There's still so much to research and talk to you about. So please make sure you come back next week where it's, gets even more interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And you can follow us on Instagram, Dark Adaptation Podcast, and tell us what you're thinking, what you're feeling, how excited you are. Do you think I'm lying when I say 3 parts? Is it going to be more? Is it going to be less? Who knows?
That's a gamble, unless you're gambling that it's going to be only 2 parts, and then you're just an idiot.
Okay, that's so true. Guys, that's true.
Yeah.
3 minimum, 3 minimum.
Yep.
3. Wow. Okay. Okay. I'm done. Okay. I'm leaving.
It's just, you know what?
Okay. Love you guys. Catch you next week. Part 2. We'll catch you on the dark side.
Bye.